Good evening, race watchers of Dragon Warrior Randomizer and SpeedGaming channel, folks. I am Edge Talbrin, here in the booth with Up2G, and we're here for another standard flag of Dragon Warrior Randomizer this evening. We've got four really good racers up to watch: Marashu, Angel FM, Smashy, and Lord of Dungeons 32. Again, standard flag. Going to be fun to watch, I think. Up2G, how you doing this evening, man?
Hey, I'm ready to enjoy a nice race. It's a nice routine we have going here. Standard flags every Sunday evening, and we're gonna call this like week 4 of the regular season. Perhaps we had our non-standard flags tournament end sometime in April, and we've been kind of consistently going every week here on Sunday nights. So we're in the 4th week of May now. Tournament for standard flags probably will be held maybe starting in August. That's kind of a guess. So we're sort of right in the middle of what I like to refer to as the regular season here. Everybody's, fighting for those SRL points and, trying to get some victories heading into the tournament.
Right on. And with that being said, we do have our wonderful Summer League tournament coming up, which is standard flags. It's going to be really interesting to see because, as you said, everybody's trying to get those points. Everybody's trying to get that little bit of position before it starts. So it's going to be interesting to watch how some of these guys play out. Looking at the screens here before we actually get started, we have some interesting names for this flag set as far as the way that these guys are going to start with their stats. So you've got Smashy with a little X, you've got the standard Z for Angel FM, and you've got the capital P for Marashu. So interesting choice, I think.
Yep, I'll let our tracker, Camion Renakai, great job as always. I'll let him figure out if that's going to affect their builds in any way. Sometimes the name can affect whether or not you're going more towards wanting to gain HP towards the end or agility. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, we just have 1 or 2 runners off stream just start, trying to get set up and ready to start this race. Looks like we have at least 10, maybe a couple of more trickled in overall. So we are currently featuring and restreaming 4 of those. Angel FM obviously is one of the top runners in the community. Smashy has done quite well in tournaments as well. Lord of Dungeons, I believe, is fairly new this season. So he is sort of getting up to speed by joining as many weeklies as he can. Marashu's been around for a bit as well. So, I feel like this is a good display of kind of people with a little bit of a varying levels of experience, right? Edge, but you never know with Randomizer who actually is going to win because, a lot of things are random. So, right, and you hit the nail.
No, I was going to say you hit the nail right on the head there. Angel FM, one of the top runners. Smashy, he's up for a good distance. Not very very new, but he's still kind of new. Just a few races that are just kind of shy of what my record runs are for now. And then Lord of Dungeons is one of our newest racers. So you've got a very varying degree. But again, as you said, there's a lot of things in here that could be equalizers for the entire race. Charlock, Red Dragons, everything is kind of up in the air until you kind of get out there and start exploring.
Yeah, and a big factor, you always want to pay attention to like the first 5 minutes, how everybody approaches. There's a lot of ways that the seeds can start. So we'll be taking a close look at what they actually get out of the 2 random chests in the throne room to see if there's any help. Even something like a torch or a fairy water can do damage to enemies and get you off level 1. And then is when they quickly check their stats, we're going to try and catch very closely what their power stat and their agility stats are to start out, because that can determine a lot for how you want to proceed in the early goings. There are some zones right near the castle which feature some really weak enemies. So if your stats aren't there, you might want to stick close to home for a little bit. And of course, the spells that you start off with are random and can greatly influence how you want to approach the start as well. So you also can start with a key. You can start with gold. There's a lot of different ways that this can work out. And some of what we like to think of as the best runners, pretty much have all the different scenarios figured out to the point where there's not going to be a lot of indecision. And, you know, so we'll have to see if there's some divergence right in the first few minutes here.
Oh yeah, and then the other factor that does play into it is exploration. You know, if you get a good direction going first, and you get some decent exploration and get some of that knowledge before other people do, it does play into your favor. It does play into an account of how the game plays out. You know, if you find out, hey, Red Dragon's got that ugly wombo combo with the sleep deal too, man, that could play pretty interesting, and nobody else finds it out till, you know, close to the end of Sherlock. You know, that's a bad place to find out.
Yeah, I agree. There definitely some knowledge along the way is useful in many situations throughout. But not only that, but just exploring to actually find something that is actually useful for, you know, making your run go faster. So a lot of times, if you have some gold, if you can get out there early and find a town, then maybe you can buy some, you know, some weaponry to help you defeat enemies faster and gain more experience faster, right? Or maybe you go and find yourself coal with a search spot and has Erdrick's sword just laying there in the grass. You might wander into a cave and you might pull a key out of a treasure chest, you know. So there's a lot of ways that early exploration can help you, even besides just the knowledge that you gain. Sometimes it really speeds up your progress too.
Oh, no doubt. And of course, you know, some of the questions to address in the chat here. There is indeed a table that does show you exactly the input that you put for your name. It'll show you how your stats will kind of play out. It doesn't give you a 100% how those stats do play out, right? But yeah, it's nice to find, and I believe some of our runners and admin staff like that will have that site get to you, and I believe it may even be in the Discord, so you kind of might be able to check that out from there.
Yeah, and there actually are a lot of characters that can be chosen to give you, you know, the stat growth that you're looking for. If you're looking to grow your strength and HP, which is the most popular build, there actually are a lot of one character names that will do that. Now, of note though is Lord of Dungeons, at least so far, is choosing a 4 character name. And what happens in this game is that the text is printed kind of like one character at a time. So when your name is displayed over and over and over again in battles and different things like that, you actually can lose a legitimate amount of time by going with 4 characters like he's threatening to do right now. So some people actually are not even aware of that. He is one of the newer runners. But even so, some people just prefer to have a nicer name than just Big Z or whatever. So, you know, it's everyone's prerogative how they want to set it up like that. But yeah, so yeah, not only can it affect your actual build, which not everybody's aware of that either that starts playing this game, that there are different builds involved, but yeah, it can actually slow you down.
All right, so our runners are getting the last second instructions from the king, and they're going to be able to get the treasure chests inside. We're going to take a look at those. Looks like we've got some fairy water, so good damage to start out. A little bit of a healing for Herb, and we're going to get that standard key. So not a terrible throne room. Not terrible stats to begin. No magic to speak of, so that's not bad. I did see, I think, an 11 strength and a 20-something agility. So yeah, super nice stats to start.
Yep, I actually didn't quite catch the stats, but I'll go with what you're saying. I thought I saw something like 13 and 12. Yeah, they flash it so quickly. But yeah, even if it's only 11 strength, yeah, the fairy water will be good. Like Smashy's using the fairy water here to one-shot a scorpion. That's good for level 2, and it'll be 1 point short of level 3. Whereas, you know, even with 11 strength, you can comfortably fight the weak enemies. Angel just one-shotting a slime there, so yeah, it won't be tough to get off the first couple of levels here. And what's this cave nearby? Let's see what Angel bumps into. It's the Staff Trading Cave, so good to know that for later. Sherlock is off to the east as well.
So just seeing Smashy's first level, he got some super spicy speed. He got 4 strength, but he got the Hurtmore off the jump. So Hurtmore level 2, this is going to be a very interesting race.
Yep, oftentimes when you get the really early Hurtmore, people will go out into the world very quickly trying to land, you know, the the nice hurt more on a medium-sized enemy, they'll jump you up a couple of levels. Unfortunately, sometimes the hit points and the agility just aren't there, and you can just get ambushed in one shot and sent back to the castle. So it's the first couple of minutes, it'll be a little bit of who gets the luck to break out quickly and who gets sent back. Like Angel right there just had to head back to the castle. When you die, you do have to listen to a lecture from the king. It eats up 15 or 20 seconds of your time, and you sacrifice half of your gold. So it is time consuming to take deaths. And unfortunately there, a wolf would have been a great target on Angel's screen, but he gets ambushed and it unleashes the Dragon Lord 2 style Dragon Breath, and that was enough to one-shot him once again. So yeah, if that happens a few times, all of a sudden you find yourself down a few minutes in a race early on.
Well, Smashy over here, he's hit level 3 and did earn heal more as well. But tried to take on a Axe Knight, and they also have the DL2 breath. So already 2 super spicy enemies, super spicy breath. This is going to be interesting with heal more this quick, and he's already got level 4. So we're going to have him take a look. 19 power, 2 speed, 3 HP, and a new spell. So yeah, very interesting where we went with that.
Yeah, I think I kind of liked what Marashu tried to do there, which was to go a little bit to the west, find a desert region, and then he just walked back and forth to try and find an enemy in the secondary zone, which is guaranteed to have, only the strongest enemy would be a wolf. So he was hoping he was still in that west zone. He did walk back and forth and found a Druin. Something some of the other runners will do, like Angel, you see, is just going off into the world, and he runs into a Demon Knight. So like I said before, when you get into those random zones and your stats aren't there, it's a little bit of a gamble. Like the Demon Knight is not susceptible to the Hurt More spell, and it's fast enough and strong enough to be able to just ambush you and one-shot you, like we saw there. So different strategies playing out when you have the super early Hurt More. Sometimes I like to just go for the early grinds nearby, where you try and pick up a couple of Metal Scorpions and Wolves in the secondary zone and just get to like level 6 or so, so that you can at least start making progress without just getting one shot, But, other people are just getting out there on the map as soon as possible, and that allows you to, in theory, if it's successful, maybe you finish up with your map exploration before everyone else, and you can get into grind and go just a little bit faster. So yeah, different strategies playing out here. We have Hawksness up in Marashu's screen as well. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so a couple of updates here. Druin, or we did see a Druin that has hurt more. So interesting place, and we did see Smashy get into Gierenham, so we do have that town located. So kind of looking around here, we've got a couple of different exploration strategies going on. People are kind of in different locations, finding different things. Angel FM, he's kind of finding a little bit of a bridge air situation there. He's found his first Metal Slime. So let's see how he plays this one out. Of course, Metal Slime, only 3 HP, but 255 experience for a kill, but they're not the easiest things out here to kill. And Metal Scorpions with DL2, so just about everything mid-tier has DL2 right now.
This Metal Slime is really sticking around for Angel. The standard flags have what we call the Scared Metal Slimes flag, which is that they can run away regardless of your strength, but this one happened to just stick around for ages, and Angel gets the lucky Metal Slime and puts him into the experience lead after kind of a rough start for him, where he was taking a lot of overworld deaths and not getting off the first couple of levels. All of a sudden, he gets a jump to level 7 with a Metal Slime kill and takes the lead.
Yeah, those Metal Slime kills, they don't come very often, but when they do, they are amazing to have. 255 experience, that makes a huge difference. And of course, now, with all of this running, we do have really big things that have to happen. So, first and foremost, we must find the 3 items to get the Rainbow Drop. And that would be the Silver Harp to turn in for the Staff of Rain, Erdrick's Token, as well as the Stones and Sunlight. And then you take him into the Jerk Cave and say, here you go, don't kick me out, give me my Rainbow Drop. And then into Charlotte Castle with that Rainbow Drop.
Very good. And Smashy actually managed to get a low roll from the an armored knight. First of all, he didn't get ambushed, which is fairly lucky. And then he got the low roll on the counterattack, so he was able to survive the one hit. And he takes it down with the double hurt more strats. That's 172 experience, basically doubles his experience total, puts him back up to level 7 and closes the gap with Angel there. Pretty substantially. So that was a pretty good turn of events for Smashy. I believe Marashu did check the spike in Hawksness, which I believe that was also an armored knight. So it is a defeatable enemy. I don't think he was successful though this time. And he's also now found the Stones of Sunlight cave with the free chest here.
Yeah, if he gets that, because he gets that first cursed belt of the night, so that'll be nice to know. And he does have a little bit of advantage knowing that the knight's there. So that's going to be super interesting. If he can hit, I'd give him, if he gets up to where Smash and Angel FM is, I'd give him going in and give him a shot.
Yeah, right nearby to that cave also is the grave, which he's attempting to run through the hallways and at least to those first 3 chests, which are fairly close by. And one of the things that you really hope to find now at this stage is a key. So he is a couple of steps away. He finds a metal slime, and we knew from Angel's battle that they do not have any dangerous abilities. So it's just a question of whether it's going to stick around long enough. There's a 25% chance every turn that it'll run away. But there's an excellent move from Marashu. 255 experience going his way now. And he is pulled up even with both Angel and Smashy. And unfortunately, we see Lord of Dungeons has really struggled to get moving so far.
Yep, so the big Hakai taking him out. He's got gold, he's got wings, and then he also pulls the second cursed belt of the night. So he's got 2 cursed belts. And of course, you can sell those, the item shop, that's 180 gold a piece. I mean, it helps if you're looking to get some gear and whatnot. But hey, good piece for him. You know, that 255 is a big thing. Yeah, Lord of Dungeons did seem to freeze up there for a minute, but he's now going. Hopefully he can get in here and get something moving. Hopefully he'll be able to catch up.
Yes, all those locations are actually really close to home. If you just go north from the castle through this little swamp, you get Hawksness, and then right next to Hawksness is Cantlin with all 3 of those shops, and eventually when we get keys, we can find out what the coordinates are for the overworld item, if there are any. And then right to the west of there are the 2 caves. You have the Stones Cave and the Grave right nearby. So I don't know that any of them have actually yielded much yet, but it's nice to see some things pretty early on. Like I said before, I feel like in addition to what you were saying about rounding up the quest items, one of the best ways to do that is to find keys, and look what we have from Marashu further off to the west from the Grave. A couple of screens over to the west is Rimuldar, and a chance to buy some keys.
Most definitely, and that is a killer thing to have. Is now has that advantage, so he can get back wherever he needs to, pick up anything that's behind those doors. He definitely has the advantage of getting back to the castle when he's ready and picking up those chests that are there, as well as finding out what's underneath Charlotte Castle. So Marashu with a definite exploration lead, and he's starting to catch up experience-wise as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. And to kind of, I was going to say, and to kind of commentate on one thing, Fearon, anytime you want to come in the booth, I'm here, man.
Ferhan Burgundy, what's going on in chat? Just enjoying the race from the viewer's perspective was fantastic. And I wanted to say that Lord of Dungeons, he was only on level 3 and managed to run into a Magic Wyvern that did not ambush him, and that's one of the greatest enemies to find when you have the Hurtmore spell. So he managed to take that out for 83 much-needed experience points, jumps him up to level 5.
Yeah, so it's good. I mean, he's finding a lot of these enemies, and then, again, the Hurtmore strat's super amazing. It's super helpful. It's great to have Hurtmore early, but unfortunately, he's running into a lot of the stuff that's just not giving him the chance to get away, so he's going to go back. It's one of those, you've got heal more, but, it's just not going to do you any good if you can't run away from the things that are, giving you the biggest piece. And again, that Axe Knight with the DL2 taking Marashi home.
Yeah, that's tough because that's an enemy that you normally love to see when you have Hurtmore. You have probably about a 2 in 3 chance of one-shotting it with your own Hurtmore spell. but when you don't quite do enough damage and it's able to counterattack, if it has that DL2 breath, you're going home right now. But he does have keys, so now's the opportunity to see what's in the treasury here. There's a replacement key, and he's got the fairy flute now, in case he runs into any golems on first shots. And we have Urk's armor. So pretty good treasury here and Murashu's the first to get the spoils. He bought a large shield earlier while he was hanging out in Rimaldar. And I missed what was in the actual chest, the one chest in Rimaldar. But according to our tracker, wasn't anything significant. So, yeah.
I missed it too. Great to have that armor though, because that's going to help out in numerous different ways. So now you have an immunity to the stop spell. You have an immunity to all barrier tiles, and you're going to gain 1 HP back per step. Plus, now Hurt More and DL2 is going to take half damage amongst everything else that you've been going on. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice to see how this is going to play out. That armor is going to be super amazing to have. As soon as these guys find Rimaldar, it's going to be kind of right in step behind.
You know what's interesting is there was no gold in the treasury, but I believe that this is Mountain Cave in the basement. And remember, he took a death to get back to the castle, and he's already opened 4 additional chests. So there is some potential here if he makes it far enough into this cave to set up like kind of what we say as a reverse gold grind, where you're gold grinding from one of the chests that's in this dungeon. Unfortunately, that chest had the gold, and that's actually the 8th chest total, so he was not able to set up the glitch there. But if any of the other chests in the down on the 2nd floor, if those also have gold, then he'll have the opportunity. Otherwise, what he would have to do now is kind of like reset this up all over again if he had something, you know, over in Cantlin that he wanted to grind up for. Not sure if we actually saw a silver shield in one of those shops or anything, but you know, getting a weapon might be nice at this point. I don't think any of our runners currently have a weapon, so yeah. So there is a grind available, but it might take some resetting up here.
Well, I do know Garenham has both the flame sword and the silver shield, so he can set that up pretty easily. And this honestly would not be hard for him to go back and do. Just a quick step outside and then coming back down and just picking up that first chest after he takes a trip downstairs and picks one of those up. A couple of wings looks like he's picked up so far. So the gold grind's pretty easy to set up, and Garenham is not far from the castle. So this is an interesting. Oh, there we go.
He's got
gold grind away.
Yeah, it's not technical. It's not hard to set up, but it would take a little time. If it wasn't here in any of these chests, what he would have to do is completely exit Tantigal to get all the chests to respawn. And then what you'd have to do is you'd go in and reopen the door to the treasury and open those chests. And then what you'd have to do, some runners don't realize, at that point he would have to actually purposely go up into the throne room to take a look at the king, and then come back down, because that adds the 3 additional chests that you often need to reset up the grind. But none of that matters now, because he has the grind going on the bottom floor of the mountain cave here, and not sure if he was one that actually saw the flame sword and the silver shield that you mentioned, but that's going to be 25,000 that he might want to pick up if he wants both of those items. Right now he's stopping at 15,000, figuring maybe he'll do his damage with the Hurt More spell and not bother with a weapon, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Don't know that he has the outside spell right now necessarily, so he's going to want to be able to walk out of here with this money.
Yeah, still super early. Meanwhile, down here with Angel FM, he has hit level 9, so he has definitely taken the experience lead, but Smashy is really close behind him. Smashy did end up getting some leather armor. He did find Erdrick's token and his dragon skill, so he must have gotten another cave that somebody had missed. So he's got a little bit of advantage exploration-wise as well. But again, Murashu with the keys, it's honestly still anyone's race here. This is super amazing. And Murashu taking down another metal slime.
Yeah, and with that, I kind of would give the edge to Murashu here. And my hunch is that the token is probably right here in Hawksness, where Angel is attempting to double Hurt More the Armored Knight. I think it looks like he must have missed on the first Hurt More, because he attempted to run away after that. So that's really unlucky. It's only a 1 in 16 chance to miss with a Hurt More against them. The other thing that could happen sometimes is that he could just get one shot by the Armored Knight because his max HP is in the 40s right now. But most of the time he will be able to take that down. And yeah, like I didn't see it, but I'm assuming that Smashy actually did that before and pulled the token out of Hawksness. But we'll see when Angel gets there if that's what happened.
Yes, indeed. Lord of Dungeons hitting level 6, so he's starting to catch up with these guys. Using hurt more strats. I mean, he's catching it. Honestly, he just needs a big one good break, and he's caught back up. He'll just have to get some exploration in, but again, he'll be able to catch up pretty easily if he can just get a high experience enemy under his belt.
You know, I'm really liking the position that Marashu's in. He's a little behind with experience, but he has keys. He already has Erdrick's armor that he pulled out of the treasury, and he's already full cleared the mountain cave. Now, I didn't catch if he actually got out of there with the money, but he could be all geared up in a matter of a couple of minutes here. Yeah, I mean, he's got the 15,000. He didn't go all the way to the 25,000, and maybe he's having a little trouble actually trying to get out in the dark. Without any radiant spell and no torches at his disposal, it's a little tricky to actually bonk your way back out of Mountain Cave sometimes. A lot of runners know how to get in and get to all the chests, but it's a little tricky to actually get back out, and he makes it out, and he's got the money. He might go back in to refresh his ability to heal more, but maybe he'll just take the inn over here at Cantlin instead. So yeah, this is a great opportunity for Marashu to just be all geared up so that he can maybe, you know, withstand some of the enemies that Angel and Smashy keep dying to.
Yep, so he picks it up there. It's there in Cantlin as well, so he picks up his silver shield. He's going to be set real nice defense-wise for a little while. He's going to be able to use that repel spell when necessary and defense break a lot of the enemies that he just doesn't want to fight that are not going to be worth the experience points later on.
Yeah, and I guess I don't mind that much the play of not getting a weapon for him, as we see the coordinates are not that far away. He could probably count that out immediately without rescuing the princess. It'll just be north through that swamp, close to home. And he's just going there immediately to start the count, so this will be interesting to see what this item is. But I started to say, a lot of times you really do want a weapon even though you have the Hurt More spell, because there are enemies that aren't susceptible to Hurt More. Eventually you're going to want to swing at Demon Knights and Blue Dragons and that kind of thing, and if you see a lot of Red Dragons on the overworld, you're going to want a really strong weapon eventually. But on the other hand, he has already seen that the Hawksness tile is an Armored Knight, which means your endgame grind could be done just with the Hurt More spell. So theoretically, maybe you don't need to buy a weapon for the whole game, and eventually you'll find Erdrick's sword, right? At least you hope so.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And worst comes to worst, Erdrick's sword will be at the bottom of Starlock, which will make your dive down maybe a little rough, but again, with the Hurt More spell, unless you're running into copious amounts of Red Dragons, it's not going to really bother you too much, I don't think. Of course, he did pick up the Silver Harp on the search tile, so we know what's there. So again, he's looking at that lead, not only exploration, but he's not got the experience lead, as Angel FM has hit level 10, and Lord of Dungeons is catching up at level 7 with Smashy at level 9.
Yeah, it's interesting. You have to, as a runner, the idea is that it would take you, I don't know, something like 30 or 40 seconds to actually grind the 10,000 necessary for the Flame Sword, for example. And this is assuming that you know where one is. So you have to decide whether or not, standing in one place and just sacrificing the 40 seconds and then, a few extra seconds to actually go to the shop and get the sword. Are you going to make that time up throughout the rest of the seed by actually having the Flame Sword and being able to, swing at things like Demon Knights? Does that actually help you by, a minute or more throughout the rest of the seed? So some people, if they have the Hurt More spell already, they figure, well, I don't really need the sword and it's only going to slow me down by grinding up the money. So there's, maybe differences of opinion on that between runners. So interesting to see Marashu passing on the weapon completely, and he does get the token off of that spot. So that is where the token was picked up. It's right there in Hawksness.
Yeah, so now, experience lead. Looks like Smashy and Angel have that, but I'm still giving that edge to Marashu. He does have the armor, he has key, and he has the harp with the silver shield, so definitely advantage to Marashu, but again, anybody's game. Still super early. Looks like we are going to give it a shot here with Lord of Dungeons on the spike tile and see how that plays out for him.
Now, did he actually do the count and I missed it? Is that where did he just pick up the harp off the overworld?
Yep, the coordinates are the silver harp. He just
Okay.
walked it. And super easy.
Yeah, that was a quick walk then. Yeah, because I didn't even notice that he finished that walk. That was super fast. Yeah, so 2 out of the 3 quest items and Erdrick's armor already. He's got keys. If he finds, Garanham out there somewhere, he'll be able to walk straight into the back without having to make a second trip. Remember where that is for later and all that. Yeah, I still like Marashu's position in this race. Smashy just now getting to Rimildar, so he has keys now. I want to say that's maybe almost 10 minutes after Marashu got his keys. And so Smashy is going to have to take the time to go, dig out the mountain cave and all that and the basement of Tantacle. Things that Marashu already has done off his checklist. So, yeah, edge to Marashu, I think, exploration-wise, for sure.
Yeah, Lord of Dungeons picking up that token out of Hawksness. So he does have a little bit more of a, he's getting back in this pretty quick after having a pretty rough start. I'm looking at a new guy here having right where he's at. I like his positioning, being as new as he is. So he can easily walk back into Hawksness and maybe grind that Axe Knight a couple of times because he did get a super low roll. Which helped him out, and he did get 8 out of it. So, I'm thinking at this point, do I grind a little bit and make it worth easy exploration, or do I continue to explore?
And Angel also now getting to Rimlar. And here's an interesting thing with Smashy is he must not have had a lot of money when he got here. So he got enough for maybe only 2 keys, maybe 3 keys, something like that. And he used 2 of them right away to open up the chest that was in Rimildar. It happened to be gold. So then he had to make a second walk around, which he'll probably be annoyed by that, but sometimes it happens that way. And made a second walk around to just, get the full keys that, you normally want to have. So a little bit of extra walking around in town. I was wondering if he was going to do a minor, what we call a ghetto grind, because there was a half plate available in the Rimildar shop. So if he had opened that chest up one more time, he could have just gone back and gotten half plate. Now, interestingly, he decided to get the one chest out of the grave that happened to be gold. So he's got something on his mind with respect to money. He didn't get the other 2 chests. So I'm assuming he had already been in here and cleared out the top 3, and he knew which one was gold. And just wanted to make sure to grab that on the way through here. So, yeah, a lot of interesting little details by Smashy there because he was a little short on money getting to Rimildar in the first place.
Yeah, and he's finding that metal slime here inside the cage as well. So it's going to be interesting. And Angel FM finding our first red dragon of the night, getting sent home super early. That's a rough piece to that one. So it means that I didn't see what the dragon had, so I didn't see what he got hit with, and it may have been his low HP. But he's back at the castle to get his complimentary armor and wrist and stuff that's there, as well as search the tile that's there. So Smashy, he's going to go down. He's going to clear out a grave as he's going to go ahead and get this knocked out. Everybody else kind of just doing their thing right now. Lord of Dungeons having a real rough time. He's just getting hurt more. He's just catching really rough breaks here.
Yeah, he is. He's had some trouble getting started. I want to say that Angel actually has had some trouble getting started as well. I mean, he's such a good runner that he may actually still win this. But his first 10 minutes did not go well. He did some very aggressive early exploration and heading up into the world, on level 2 or 3 with the early hurt more, and it just wasn't working out for him. He was running into things like Demon Knights, which you can't hurt more, and he was getting sent home a lot. And then he also, what we call just exploration luck. He just didn't go that direction that Marashu did early to get the keys. So, he was exploring other areas that led to a lot of dead ends and getting experience pretty well. But just, it took him a long time to get keys, and now he's just trying to catch up with, all these, going through Mountain Cave and everything like that. So I feel like Angel had kind of a rough start for him. But at the end of the day, he'll probably be okay because he did manage to, get that experience lead going while wandering around in parts of the world that weren't necessarily too good otherwise. You know, there were a lot of dead ends, but still, it looks like him and Smashy are sort of tied for the lead experience-wise now, and they're just catching up on exploration. Whereas, you know, Marashu got those keys early, got the sword, and he did the grind for the silver shield already, so he's in good shape in terms of survivability. He's got very high defensive power now. You know, he can, if they have the repel spell, he can repel a lot more enemies right now. He's defense breaking more enemies, so all these things kind of go in Marashu's favor, but like I said, Angel and Smashy are so good that you have to take advantage of those small edges while they last, otherwise they're just going to catch up to you.
Well, watching Smashy over here in Mountain Cave, he got the fourth chest there, got the sword out of it, got down to the bottom, and hit a torch. So he is on his way out. Looks like he's going to death warp out of here and go pick up the stuff that's inside of Tanadol. So not a terrible choice, I think. You know, just die out here and he's going to pick up his armor, so he's going to be in really good shape.
Well, you know,
he'll be able to get that gold grind down in
yeah, he probably is aware that the top chest in Mountain Cave, which is under the basement, is gold. So I think he does have some gear on his mind. Now, if he hasn't even been back home, we don't even have him marked off as having the armor. So he may actually not know if there's a grind or not. But this is what you do. Usually if you clear out the grave, you want to set yourself up just in case there is a gold grind available. He's got the keys, so yeah, so he's looking for a death warp, and it'll be interesting when it becomes available. Yeah, I'm trying to think. By the time he gets to the chest in Mountain Cave, it should be glitched right away, and I'm not sure if he's going to bother with the silver shield because he's going to get his armor now, and he already has the sword. So from his perspective now, is he going to take that time to get silver shield money? Or is he just going to let it go? Because he already has the large shield. So that's another one of those decisions that runners, you know, you could go either way.
Indeed. And again, kind of looking at that death warp he just took, that is the 5th enemy in this entire run that has DL2. So it looks like everybody is hitting the Dragon Lord gem, learning those abilities, and just kind of sending our runners out, man. And again, as Rowdy Sniper put, Angel FM taking down another metal slime. So that's 2 for him, 2 for Marashu, 1 for Smashy. You know, it's real. And Lord of Dungeons did end up finding Ribbldark picking up keys, so he is kind of on his own little get-go here, finally starting to be able to get into this run a little bit. So he's going to get down here and find what he needs to in Mountain Cave as well.
Yeah, I mean, I expect Lord of Dungeons now for this section of the race to be, you know, fairly equivalent to how Angel and Smashy run it. You know, a lot of stuff sort of plays itself as you go. You got to have some skill with remembering, you know, where things are in the map and that kind of thing. But once you get strong and you're not dying all the time and you do have the Hurt More spell, you know, I expect him to proceed pretty well. What I was saying, you know, before the race even started is that a lot of times runners with experience separate themselves in like those first 5 minutes. Like, what decisions are they making to get moving right away? And I felt like Lord of Dungeons really struggled in those first 5 minutes. Everybody else was like level 5, 6, 7. I turn around, look on his screen, he had like 10 experience points. So I didn't see exactly how unlucky that was. I'm sure that things just didn't go well for him, but a lot of times it's those first few minutes that can really make or break a race.
Yeah, watching Lord of Dungeons there, he had a metal slime, he got 2 hits in, and then he decided to take off, and then he just ran from the second metal slime he ran into. So just not having a real good luck like the rest of these guys, getting guys knocked out. Angel FM picks up his flame sword and silver shield, so he's just not made it down to the bottom of the Mountain Cave yet. But hey, I mean, it's not a terrible thing. You know, back up for if you run out of magic. I mean, we are sitting at level 11 with these guys, and we're still sitting at pretty low stats, HP and MP wise. So yeah, it's interesting how the stat grind is going.
Yeah, I want to point out for in Angel's case, so it's the Mountain Cave, I believe, that's under the basement of Tanticle, and the grave was just a cave that was like off to the west. And I'm pretty sure what happened was Angel went through there and got the top 3 in the grave before he had keys, or it was, when he was not very strong or whatever. So a lot of times what will happen in his case, he may never go back to the grave to go through the bottom 2 for like a really long time, maybe even until he clears Charlock. So he's actually in danger of not finding Erdrick's sword, which could be really detrimental at the very end of the race when they're just grinding up for attack power. We'll have to keep a close eye. It's a very common strategy to not go back into the grave once you've already cleared the top 3. So, that's something to be concerned about if you're a fan of Angel FM here. Is he going to go back in and pull those last 2 chests in order to find the sword?
Indeed. And EMP bringing up the Harp Knight, rejected Shovel Knight characters, as we kind of check out the test while we have a grind mode going on here. That is one of the things about that glitch is some of these tests will give you completely random items. So it's interestingly enough that is the one that pops up today would be the Harp Knight.
Marashu finally back into Hawksness. I think he had taken a stab at this quite a long time ago, and when he fails a hurt more attempt there and is just not going to bother. I think he has heal more if he wants to use it, but he's trying to just heal walk his way to re-engage this enemy here. But I feel like he died to this Armored Knight before getting the item off here, or is he just, I don't know now. Is he just want to get an extra level or 2 here? We have the token marked off for him, but let's see if he searches the spot right now, because, yeah, all right, maybe he just wanted to get some experience. Interesting play if you don't yet have the sword. You would think that there would be more places for him to go exploring. I'm surprised at this play a little bit, but, it is some quick experience. If there's some reason why he wants to get level 12, maybe they don't have Repel yet, maybe, I'm not sure exactly what he might be looking for here, but he is just chewing up the rest of his MP and going off to the inn here, most likely, and just doing a little bit of a grind in the middle of the seed before he is quite into what we would think of as grind and go mode. Right.
I was going to say, he's just doing a grind here. He cast Repel just as he was walking away from the inn. So I think he's just wanting to get over there to that Axe Knight, get some hits in, try to get some quick experience, and then just try to, kind of make the exploration a little easier, late game exploration. He's got literally everything he needs. He just has to go back to the staff cave, which he did find earlier. He's ready to grab his stuff. But again, he's not found the sword, which means he's not finished Mountain Cave, or he's not finished Grave. There's that little piece too. So, and then of course, Smashy is going to go get his coordinates, so he's going to be able to go pick up his silver harp. We're kind of getting into a spot here where it's everybody's getting the last little bits of what they need. We're still missing the Fighter's Ring and Death Necklace, but again, those could easily be down, and probably are down in Scarlock.
Yeah, it's just a little unusual here from Marashu is choosing to almost basically is doing his end game grind now before he's actually acquired all the items. Sometimes you do this when you're fishing for a certain spell, but he does already have the Repel spell. I noticed in his spell list there. I'm not sure what else you'd really be fishing for in this situation. Maybe he just really doesn't like his stats. It looks like they're very low on MP. For a hurt more seed, that's a little bit frustrating. You want to be hurt mooring lots of enemies. He's just kind of going back and forth and trying to pick up a couple of levels here. I think that he was one of the ones that already saw where the Staff of Rain trading cave was. We saw that fairly early on. So he still has to go do that. And then, of course, you turn all those items into a different old man to pick up the rainbow drop. He hasn't done that yet. And, of course, he doesn't yet have Erdrick's sword. So, it's interesting that he's choosing to do his endgame grinding now. We'll see if that ends up working out for him at the end there.
Yeah, this isn't a terrible grind. It's not a bad spot to start grinding. And I'm not sure if I saw Smashy take that red dragon down or just run from it. Running is a good strategy this early, especially when your defense and whatnot is just not where it needs to be. But it's not a terrible spot on Marashu here to kind of just pull this grind. He's catching up experience-wise pretty quick. In fact, he just hit 12. He's fixed and surpassed Angel FM, so this could be interesting pretty quick. Like,
yeah, it is an interesting play actually, and I think it really does have to do with the stats. I noticed that I think on level 11 they only had a max of 48 hit points and like 30 MP. That is atrocious for level 11. So I feel like he's just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Let me have some stats so I can just walk through the rest of the map without worrying about it. And yeah, now the more that I see what he's doing, the more I kind of like the play here. I'm not so sure about taking all this time to heal walk in between battle. He's trying to just get one more battle in instead of using the heal more, which of course then he wouldn't have the hurt mores to fight the enemy again. So it is kind of working out. Like you said, he was well behind in experience, and now he's actually in the lead on stream here amongst our 4 runners. And like I was trying to say before, what happens when you get all your exploration lead? Like, he had the keys early, he had the armor early, he grinded up for the shield early. So you're doing that before everyone else. So now that gives you this opportunity to just catch up in the experience department, because they're running around looking for all the stuff that you already have. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm liking this play by Marashu now that we're seeing it in action. And this, like you said, this should make it easier for him to just finish the rest of what he needs to do at the end. I don't know if he still needs to locate the Rainbow Drop Cave. He might have to walk around the map just looking for that one cave. At some point he's going to have to look around for the sword. But in the meanwhile, he can get a bunch of levels and make life a lot easier. So yeah, totally different strategy. And it's right now, I think it's working.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you can cast Repel and just kind of walk where you need to go pretty easily, makes it pretty easy. Especially now that he's got the armor, he's got the silver shield. He'll be able to defense break a lot of this late game enemies that may be able to slog you down a little bit. But of course, everybody else is sitting pretty nice. We've got Smashy, who's ready to pick up all his stuff. He did get his rainbow or his Staff of Rain. We do have Angel, who's gotten his coordinates, so he knows he can walk and go get his stuff. And as well, Lord of Dragons or Lord of Dungeons, catching up in the experience department. He is. I'm not sure where he is searching right now, but he is bumping around in the dark here. Again, this is anybody's race. It really is. Marashu decided to just do his grind. I'm kind of not sure who I'm going to give the advantage to at this point.
Yeah, and Angel just went and did the errand of trading up for the staff, and then he cast Return right away so he can walk in a different direction. Smashy just found kind of a long dead end off to the northeast. He cast Return, goes in a different direction. He's now going into the back of Garenham. I guess maybe he hadn't done this yet. Oh no, he had done it because he's just skipping past the chests. What was back here? Perhaps Swamp Cave, and maybe he figures the Rainbow Drop Cave is on the other side? Is that a thing? Let's see, is this Swamp Cave? Yeah, looks like it might be. He doesn't have the outside spell, so he just has to walk through. Yeah, I think maybe he's done exploring First Continent, he's just looking for the Rainbow Drop Cave, is what I'm thinking on Smashy's end. And meanwhile, Marashu has overtaken the experience lead with that little grind in the mid-game there. It's got a little bit more with HP and MP, but really still not a lot on level 12. So back into Hawksness he goes, just fishing for some more stats, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, the stat growth on this one is just atrocious as far as HP and MP. I do know they have a pretty significant amount of agility, but power's right there a little bit, but it's not exactly where they need it to be, so they're going to have to definitely do a grind. But being at level 12 and only having, a max of 56 HP, that's awful atrocious this late in the game.
Yeah, fortunately, in his case, I guess in all their cases now, they got Erdrick's armor. Otherwise, they could continue to be one-shot by the Dragon Lord Breath, which you said that we've seen 5 different enemies show up with now. So, I mean, when you have very low HP in a seed, that's just one of the many problems that you run into. And yeah, fortunately, they're not getting one-shot by anything anymore, but it's still kind of tough sledding. You can get 2-shot by things. Like, sometimes he's actually missing or hurt more on the Armored Knight, and then all of a sudden you're in danger of dying because you can't withstand 2 attacks, so he's going back and forth. He's able to get basically about 2 victories on each cycle here. So it's fairly slow because you have to walk back and forth to this inn. but it's still faster than whatever his opponents are doing because the experience lead has grown a little bit. So interesting here from Marashu. Doesn't seem to be too worried that he still has some homework to do to actually get into Sharlock with Erdrick's Sword. He's another one actually that might be gambling on the fact that maybe he's hoping that Erdrick's Sword is in Sharlock and may not end up going back into the grave to look to see if it's down there, you know. So Smash is the only one that knows, has the knowledge, and has the actual Erdrick's Sword in his possession.
Yeah, and of course, Lord of Dungeon's bumping around in a dungeon. I haven't seen him get into a fight, so I'm wondering if he has somehow gotten himself lost in Tablet Cave, which is a super bummer. Okay, never mind. There's an enemy there, so I was going to say, getting lost in Tablet Cave in the dark is just god-awful, because unfortunately, that is the one cave that has no encounters, and without the outside spell, you have to know exactly where you are to get there.
Yeah, I still don't like doing that in a race if you don't have the outside spell to bail you out. And he does get the excellent move on a Metal Slime. Not sure if he had gotten one yet. All of our other runners had, you know, multiple Metal Slime victories at this point. So good on Lord of Dungeons to catch up on experience with the critical hit there. Metal Slime goes down for 255. And yeah, I'm actually also struggling to figure out where exactly he's bonking around. I mean, so it's obviously it's got to be either the grave or the mountain cave, because
he's in the bottom of mountain
cave for this long.
He's in the bottom of mountain because he's fighting all these metal slimes. I think he's actually grinding metal slimes. That is a very iffy grind, just for the simple fact this is how often they can run from you. And of course, he's getting Goldman too. So I'm wondering if he is just, you know, this is his thought of. Gold grind these guys, experience grind those metal slimes. Rough play, especially considering he's at level 9. He can easily and has taken down that armored knight. You know, he can go in and kind of pull what Marashu was doing, gain a couple of levels there, catch up. You know, he's not behind terribly. He just needs to get a couple of his exploration pieces done, but he's not sure what he's doing here.
I don't know. I see his sprite like walking in all different directions. I feel like he has got to just be lost at this point. So we'll see if he just decides to like just take an intentional death here to a Demon Knight and just get out of there. It seems to me like he's lost, but we'll see. Yeah, the Demon Knight is going to put him down, so... one way or the other, he is out of that cave. Not sure if he managed to get all the chests. So that's sometimes a bummer if you have to go back in because you couldn't find your way to all the chests. Maybe you want to swing by Cantlin on the way and pick up a torch. Something like that could always help. But yeah, let's see. So Marashu is now doing his explorations. A couple of towns up here, which it looks like he's already been to. And I think, like I said before, I think he's just trying to find his way to the Rainbow Drop Cave. He was,
and I believe Smash is looking for his spell.
Right. So Marashu had put off the the exploration until he gained 2 more levels. Looks like he got a pretty good HP boost on level 13, and he does get the Rainbow Drop Cave, but unfortunately for him, he didn't trade in yet for the staff. That has to be a very big error if that's the case. Because I'm pretty sure that he had seen the Staff of Rain Cave pretty early. I think he was the first one to find it.
Yeah, indeed, that's the case. Cole's search tile had nothing on it, and Angel's getting ready to walk into Jerk Cave and pick up his drop, so he's going to be sitting in a good spot. We've got Smashy walking into Hawk's nest, so it looks like he might grind up a little bit here. In the meantime, Marashu looks like he's going to go take that walk and pick up his staff.
Yeah, but this is the thing that I'm not 100% sure if Marashu saw the staff cave, but I thought he was the one that did. And there's kind of a concept in the game that runners use called routing, where you want to be doing things in an order that saves time, basically wandering around on the map, right? So if he knew where the staff cave was, it really would have been better for him to just take a side trip and trade that in, just in case down the line you bump into the Rainbow Drop Cave. Well, you have all the items then, and now you don't have to remember where it is and make another trip back to the Rainbow Drop Cave later. So to me, that's if that's what happened there, that's a pretty big error, just because it is going to take a big extra trip now to go back to the Rainbow Drop Cave at the end. But maybe he never found the staff cave, and then it doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do in that case. It's just exploration luck at that point. Which order you happen to find the caves in, you have no control over.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, that's kind of how it goes, and that's kind of what it looks like in my opinion. I know Smashy I think Smashy's the one who actually found it first.
It looks like Lord of Dungeons is attempting a count here, and he's walking to the west. I'm pretty sure the coordinates had you going to the east, if I recall.
Yeah, I think he's got his directions mixed up just a little bit. But I think he's got it figured out now, and he's heading back the other direction.
Marashu does now pick up the staff out of the cave, so yeah, I think that was... I'm pretty sure he knew where it was, because it looked like he kind of ran straight over to it, and now he has to... I think that was an oopsie. So he's maybe now going to head back over to where he found the rainbow drop, so it's a little extra walking around, but... Yeah, no, not too big of a deal. He does, like you said, he's got Repel active with higher stats than he would have before because he grinded a couple of levels, and he's got very good agility and defense power, which means he'll only be seeing things like this red dragon, which he gets away from because of the high agility that you mentioned. So yeah, the walking isn't as disastrous because he's repelling almost everything.
And Lord of Dungeons trying to do this count, I think he is a little bit lost because he's just north of the search spot where everybody else has already hit.
Yep, and we have Angel, who I think he is probably doing his endgame grind now, kind of like Marashu was doing before. And Marashu does pick up the drop, so a little bit extra walking around, but he is now in item go mode. He just doesn't have the Erdrick sword, and he may be banking on hoping that it's in Charlotte Castle. We'll just wait and see. So he might actually be just grinding from here. Angel is walking back and forth between the two towns, just grinding. He has all 3 items. He traded in for the staff earlier. Looks like he hasn't yet found Rainbow Drop Cave. But he's in a pretty good place. But both Marashu and Angel have not found the sword. So will they go back into the grave and dig out the bottom?
I'm kind of hoping so. I mean, that's one of those that you really don't want to put a whole lot of stock into maybe that being there because you still are missing quite a few items where you're missing the ring, the necklace, and the dragon scale for some of them. So you really want to put that much faith into the fact that you're missing that many items and your sword being down there, knowing you have not fully dug out. I'm personally going to dig out everything. I'm not the greatest runner in the world, but I'm like, I don't want to leave anything to chance.
I think this is the second time I've seen Smashy go through the swamp cave. And let me see now. Is he heading over for his rainbow drop? So he found... Wait, what is this? I think he thought that was Rainbow Drop Cave or something because it was right there. But just nopes out of it. Maybe that was Tablet Cave and he has decided that he has everything already. So he doesn't need to be digging out Tablet Cave.
Yeah, if I'm in Smashy...
I thought we saw Smashy find Rainbow Drop Cave before, but it's the only thing that he could be looking for at this point. Based on what we have on our tracker for him. He has everything else.
I think that's the case. I don't think Smashy actually found it on the other continent with everybody else. So I think he is in this process just trying to find it. The only thing over here is Tablet Cave.
Ah, okay. So he was convinced that he maybe full cleared first continent. So this is the second time he's been over to the second continent. And it is mostly empty. Yeah, so he's about to circle all the way back to the swamp entrance here, and maybe I was actually thinking if he was going in there to check the spike tile to see if there was a better grind there. I'm not sure if anyone's done that yet. Have you seen what that enemy is? Because if it's an axe knight and everybody else is going for the armored knight, then you have a nice advantage there.
Yeah, I actually don't think anybody's checked that spike tile. And the only drawback I see is that axe knight does have DL2, so yeah, you're going to get hit with DL. You have the chance of getting hit with DL2 versus getting just hit a little harder, or just a little less harder than the axe knight's throwing at you. So hard to kind of discern which one's going to be the better grind because you can't be guaranteed a one-hit shot.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a factor. I do think that as as their stats progress that it would be better though, because you're not getting ambushed as often from the Axe Knight, and when you don't get ambushed, you are one-shotting it pretty often. And if you don't, then you are going to survive. Because he does have Erdrick's armor, you are going to survive the one Dragon Lord Breath attack. The only question is how far away is Swamp Cave from, like, you know, an inn or something. Then that could be the deciding factor, because Hawksness is quite close to Cantlin, so that's a pretty straightforward grind. And we see Marashu has picked up, is this level 14 now on his grind. He is definitely just grinding now. I feel like he is maybe banking on that sword in Charlock. And what's Angel doing? Is he also just grinding now?
Yeah,
And
both our runners here
as
just
well.
grinding out.
Yep.
Smashy's still searching the overworld now to find that.
Yeah,
Cave.
this is rough for Smashy because he's the one that has the sword, so he's got a great advantage in that retrospect. But if for some reason he can't find the Rainbow Drop Cave, he must be just, you know, swearing all kinds of profanity, like, what the heck, where is this thing? Because I've been everywhere. It looks like he's, you know, he went through the second continent twice, which means he thinks he's been everywhere.
Yeah, Lord of Dungeons is searching. He's right in the location. He just has his coordinates mixed up a little bit. Unfortunately, he is going to. Honestly, he was just one step away from it, and I was, you know, kind of off calm. He was going, go down one more step, go down one more step, please go down one more step.
Yep. Instead, he finds an Armored Knight, and he's going to have to make that count all over again. But fortunately, it's not a very long count. It's doable for most runners here. Maybe he made a little note of where he was because he's just beelining back in that direction now. Taking a swing at a Drake on the way through, which that's another strategy. Most experienced runners will run away from very weak enemies because the time it takes to watch the text go by of getting the 3 experience points is really not worth, you know, the 3 experience points at this point in the game. So that's something you pick up when you watch some of these races, how some runners are balancing, you know, which enemies to fight and which enemies to not bother with. And he is picking up his count on the other side of these little lakes here.
Yeah, he just needs to step to the south. He just needs to go south. I mean, he's right on the spot, but he's
oh, geez. This is what I was wondering. Marashu is diving, hoping to find the sword here. Now he's going to pick up experience along the way with some enemies because he's probably not at go time stats yet. But he's doing this specifically because he's hoping to dig the sword out of here, and it's not going to be here.
Yeah, he's about to find the sad news once he gets down there, because I don't think he'll have too hard of a time getting down there. It's going to be trying to get away from some of these enemies that are going to be a pain. It looks like he's stocked up with fairy water.
Look at what happened there, too, is that, like, he runs into a wizard. He doesn't have a weapon, at least according to our tracker. So the wizard is an enemy that doesn't care about your hurt more. So the more you have to not take these fights, the more that, you know, kind of doing a dive/grind in Charlock is less efficient, because you're skipping out on these battles that if you had a flame sword or something, you would just maybe 2-shot or 3-shot the wizard and just move on. This nice quick experience, but he has to pass on that battle. So depending on, and the golem's another one, so the golem is not susceptible to hurt more, so he has to skip that battle. He'll probably skip the stone man, so now you're just not getting experience here. So I'll go back to that decision early on, didn't grind up the money for the flame sword while he was grinding for the silver shield, so I'm not so sure that that's working out for him now that we see what's happening here.
So 2 pieces while that was going on. Angel FM hits level 15 with 36 magic points. So he is at 81. He is, at least magic-wise, just about ready to go. But still, other stat-wise, I don't think he's quite there. And then Lord of Dungeons does finally get on that right track. It does pick up the silver harp. So he is just about ready to get on with his grind and go mode as well.
So Angel does the opposite thing of what Marashu did, and he is actually going back into the grave to make sure that the sword isn't here before attempting the Sharlock dive, and he's going to be rewarded, whereas Marashu, his decision to go into Sharlock first is going to be a problem. So yeah, it's working out well for Angel. This is one of those tricky situations, like, oh, should I go take the time away from my grind and away from a potential Sharlock dive? Should I just take the side trip and go to the bottom of the grave? And there it is. Angel gets the sword, and he is now officially in grind and go mode. He's got the equipment, and he's got the drop. So all he needs now is the stats.
Yeah, I haven't seen where he's sitting at stat-wise for 15, but I'm again only 80-something HP. He is not quite ready for that Sharlock dive, but he does have the magic to at least sit here and grind this Axe Knight a few more times where he has to go back.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the time that had taken, Smashy already was in grind and go mode, but he fell behind Angel pretty significantly on experience because he was just wandering around for so long looking for the Rainbow Drop Cave. He probably had the rappel on and he was not taking many fights, and Angel was grinding that Armored Knight before, and then just now chose to take that side trip to go look for the sword. But in theory that should have balanced out with what Smashy was doing, except Smashy just could not find that Rainbow Drop. So now he finds himself also in grind and go mode, but unfortunately he's about 2,000 points behind, which is about a 4 or 5 minute lead for Angel. This is going to be like a 400 points to maybe 500 points per minute grind here. So yeah, he's within one failed dive of catching up to Angel if he somehow, loses to the Dragon Lord or something, but pretty much he's about 4 or 5 minutes behind.
Well, looking at Marashu picking up everything, he picks up absolutely everything that is missing: the scale, the necklace, and the ring in the bottom of Sharlock. So a disappointing pickup for Marashu. He's going to have to go back and figure out where he missed that grind, and hopefully he just realizes that it's down there at the bottom. Deadeye brings up a good point, though. This is now Angel's race to lose. All he's got to do is grind to 16. Hopefully he gets that HP stat he's looking for, as well as just enough strength to get in there, and hopefully that's what he needs.
Yep. And I agree with that now that we're in the situation we're in, and I will let you monitor from here on out if anything happens off stream with someone. We have a handful of other runners, some of them are quite strong. And we get to see that the Blue Dragon is the mini-boss guardian, by the way, so Marashu has the information at least. And Blue Dragons have hurt, so he's got really good info now. Unfortunately, let's see, he swings, he does 19 damage. If he actually doesn't have a weapon, that means the strength score is actually pretty good. Good information there from Marashu.
I fully agree. I mean, just kind of giving him the hands here, and it's working out. And the dragon is just literally either throwing hurt or hitting him with a straight up attack. So good knowledge to have, and not a terrible grind spot. And I think he's going to go ahead and take a death warp out of here. From the looks of it, so not a terrible idea. And again, I'm hoping that he hits the cave immediately so I can get that sword and get back in here, because this blue dragon is not a terrible grind spot, but the problem with it is it's more resistant to hurt more than the knights are, and with it only having hurt, it has heal more too. So never mind that idea.
That's tricky. It looks to be a fairly low percentage heal more, but it could rear its head as one of our runners is going for the final dive. If we have a very borderline stat situation where you really can't burn a heal more yourself, and all of a sudden you're expecting to hit the blue dragon and get him down, and he casts heal more, that could be a gotcha at the very end of a race. So see how that goes at the end.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if they take herbs down with him, it's not a terrible idea. He also finds a little Star Waver in there, 105 XP for a 1 hurt more shot. Not a terrible thing. He's going to end up just throwing out. Yep, he's going to throw out and he's going to go back. Hopefully, he just decides to dive the mountain cave over here.
I'm not sure if he actually got the upstairs chest. I wasn't watching that closely. So maybe in the back of his mind, he's trying to figure out where haven't I been. And there are the 2 chests in the grave still for him from his perspective, and maybe he's thinking, could be the upstairs chest in Sharlock, but if you have the choice between those two and the grave is at all convenient, you'd want to go down there first because, you know, 2 chances to get the sword instead of just 1.
Well, he picked up the judge's table chest and it was gold, so he knows that
Oh,
the
he
sword
did
is not
pick it up.
in
That's what I
Charlock.
was wondering. Okay, yeah, if he went upstairs to get that. So, okay. So, yeah, it sounds like the only place that he hasn't been then is the bottom of the grave. Not sure if he ever went through Tablet Cave or whatever, but yeah, I would think that the next thing he's going to do is to go towards the grave. So, didn't work out. So, while that was happening for him, Angel has just skyrocketed with experience where, like I was saying, when you have to kind of walk through Charlock and you're not fighting those fights because you don't have a weapon, say he was running from wizards and stonemen and golems and all that. So the experience lead was widening because he was, you know, doing a lot of walking and not a lot of fighting.
Yeah, and looks like Angel here is just not even bothering anymore. I was going to say, not even bothering anymore to cast Hurt. He is just using the sword to his complete advantage here. He does get 16th. We're going to take a look here. 4 speed, 27 HP, and 39 magic. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know how good their attack power is because they didn't get any on that level, but you could easily have go time here. You have a bunch of extra heal mores. If your attack power is a little low, Cantlin is right nearby. You could pick up a bunch of fairy water. I think this is go time for Angel. He maybe doesn't have the... Yeah, let's see. So you have enough hit points now as well. So you got good hit point gain there. So we're into triple-digit hit points. Yeah, he's walking east. It's time to go to Charlock.
Yeah, Elmore says it's low 90 strength, so that coupled with the Erdrick sword, not quite there.
I think he's there because he's got a lot more magic now on this level than they had before. So, yeah, he's going for victory here. If they're in the low 90s with strength, that means they're in the 130s for attack power. And now with this triple-digit MP, that's going to be enough. So all he's going to do is get down there now. There are armored knights here. I'm not sure if there are really any red dragons. I'm not sure if you can recall if any Charlock enemies have like sleep and Dragon Lord breath, but if
haven't
all
seen
those
anything
things,
there.
Yeah, if nothing really stops him, then he's in a great place to finish out the seed here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, so right now, according to some of our guys in the chat, Ness Cardinality's going in as well. He has 1 level up on Angel, so but Elmore brings up a good point. RNG is still a thing. You have that blue dragon that does have the heal more, and if you don't know that going in, that's going to be rough, especially when you're getting low and getting knocked down, and then he's all of a sudden right back in fighting shape.
That is interesting if Ness Cardinality decided to get an extra level, and I'm not sure why you would, honestly. The numbers, I think, look pretty good, so...
Sorry,
okay,
Elmore in dungeon level.
That. Okay. Dungeon level, so they're just... He's basically just 30 seconds ahead of where Angel is in terms of where they are, and it comes down to who's going to encounter more enemies, who's going to fail to run from a couple of enemies, and that sort of thing. So we got a close race off stream. There may even be other runners that we're not aware of that are, you know, getting ready to fight the Dragon Lord. So, you know, you can go ahead and monitor that edge. I don't have that open, but yeah, it's going to be a nice end to the race here.
Yeah, and the update from Harrison, Nescard took a death, so Angel is in the driver's seat right now. All he's got to do is get there. So Angel is pretty much, it's his race to lose at this point.
A death in Charlock. I wonder what that could have been, because we're not aware of any sleep plus Dragon Lord combos. You know, there were armored knights. If you just keep failing to run from an armored knight and you don't heal, that could happen. But I think that he would have tried healing. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. So things can happen when you find these armored knights and you just can't run away for a really long time. There are red dragons down here too. Angel is just a few steps away from getting to that mini boss, which we know is the blue dragon. And I'm not sure if Angel has even seen any blue dragons, so he probably doesn't know that they have heal more, but maybe is not going to matter too much in the end here.
Yeah, and actually it's, the blue dragon has heal more, and it has hurt. And it looks like it's got a pretty high chance of casting hurt, because when we watched Marashu do his dive originally, he just kept getting hit with hurt, and he got the 1 heal more off pretty close to the end. Mirashi picking up his sword, so now he just needs to grind.
So he gets the excellent move to jump over the heal more range anyways, so Angel will just get through here without ever having encountered that issue. And he has full MP, a full 15 heal mores to work with. And yeah, way more than enough attack power. He's a very big favorite to win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, all he's got to do is swing out. Doesn't have near enough HP for Death Necklace strat, so at this point, it's just swing, swing, swing. And from the looks of it, a fairly non-trolly Dragon Lord fight. So he's going to be able to go in with just about full HP. As long as he doesn't get jumped here, he might actually have an extra fling. And he did get the extra fling.
Yep, he's good to go. It looks like he felt that the numbers were close enough that he did go ahead and use herb strats on DL1 to try and get the extra turn. I think even if he didn't get that, he would be a pretty big favorite, but you know, sometimes if you're not like 100% to win, you just do, you know, the safe thing. So he took a few extra seconds to use some herbs, got into DL2 with, you know, full HP, got the extra attack, and now it's attack and heal, attack and heal, attack and heal. We're showing that he has the silver shield, so he's not going to ever take more than 48 damage. And yeah, shouldn't have any issue here.
Barring a missed menu, he's got this in the bag, and nobody else has finished yet. But of course, updates coming in from chat. Beta is in the basement, so he is right there in the driver's seat to take second place off screen. So you know, I'm monitoring the IRC chat to see who's going to finish out first. Looks like Angel may have this in the bag if he just keeps up and doesn't do anything crazy.
Yeah, and Smashy was in an awkward spot where he had to go back to an inn just a few hundred points away from the next level, which sometimes this costs you like an extra minute now, because he's going to go and get what turns out to be a really big level. Maybe he wasn't thinking that 16 was going to be enough, but it's you know, it gives you that huge MP boost. So he had to go all the way back to an inn and then all the way back to the spot, and it's just going to take like 2 fights and he'll be ready to go. And so, a little unfortunate for Smashy that it worked out that way, but he's about to do his dive into Sharlock momentarily. And Erdrick's Sword for Lord of Dungeons. So he is all equipped up now and ready to proceed with the rest of his exploration.
Yeah, so another update from chat. Ness Cardinale taking another dive and another death to the Fun Police. So, unfortunately, Ness just having a rough night, looks like.
Yeah, do the Red Dragons have any abilities that we didn't notice?
I'm not 100% sure, but Angel FM does finish off the Dragon Lord at 164. He's going to go back, and he's got extra MP, so yeah, he's finished with this one. Good game for Angel FM. We'll get him in here for a after-game commentary here shortly. Meanwhile, again, yeah, Lord of Dungeons taking up Erdrick's Sword, and Smashy just about ready to make his dive, and then of course a couple others that are in progress. Beta finishing just about to finish up his DL2. DK just getting ready to start his DL2. So these guys are just really getting into it here.
It's really amazing when you watch Angel FM in these races. Like he just came in first overall in a pretty stacked field. 10 or 12 racers, something like that overall, and like I was saying before, I felt like his first 10 minutes went poorly. And so for him to be able to overcome, a deficit and come from behind and basically round everything up and get it done before everyone else, I mean, that just shows the skill level that we're dealing with here.
Yep, so Angel FM does finish with an official SRL time of 108.36. First place finish for him, and he's got a couple of runners getting ready to finish up behind him, I believe.
Yep, Smashy has the level, and he's making the eastward trek and about to enter Sharlock himself. Assuming he doesn't actually have any herbs in his possession. Not sure if that was an oversight because he was walking back and forth to Cantlin all that time. And one of those trips, he could have just bought some herbs. So sometimes when the numbers are a little bit close, that can be an issue. Because especially like if you run into a red dragon on the way down and you burn most of your HP, but then you get away, you really want to use some herbs, because if you don't, you might take a step and run into another red dragon, and then you're talking about burning heal mores. So, and also you typically want to use them in the Dragon Lord 1 fight if the numbers are close. So Smashy's going to attempt this dive with no herbs, but the stats are there, so see how the luck plays out for encounter luck, run luck, and that sort of thing.
Yep. So Beta Strep finishing with an official SRL time of 1:10:09. He's finishing up second place, so good job to him. And joining us in the booth is Angel FM. Congratulations on that first place finish, man.
Oh, thank you very much, Judge.
So we were, and this was brought up by Up to Indeed. Your first 10 minutes, a very rough go, and then you don't find the sword until way late in the game, and then just come out on top on this one.
Yeah, so the way things were going, I felt like 110 was going to be like the winning time, depending on what HPMP did. And yeah, I mean, the first 10 minutes was kind of rough. I explored everything to the east, and everything was to the west. But after that, being able to hurt more all the enemies and whatnot, I mean, it didn't get too bad, and I was able to make up the experience pretty quick.
Oh yeah, that Axe Knight grind was that was the grind, man. That was the for real thing. Unfortunately, you and Mirashu both did not have the sword super early. Smashy got it very, very quickly, and he is in the process of his grind, falling to a red dragon. Mirashu decided to grind just a little bit early, and then go out for some exploration. Had a hard time getting, because he found the Rainbow Drop Cave but didn't have the staff and had to go back for it, so that really put you ahead because you were just grinding that Axe Knight like crazy.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, is once I knew that Jerk Cave was the only thing left and where I had to go, I made sure to grab the harp or the Staff of Rain right away before exploring the rest of that, because I really didn't want to have to go back.
Yeah, I like that play for routing purposes. What's going on, Angel? Good game. So one of the things that was different also with Mirashu is you were in the same spot as him where you didn't have the sword yet. So what he ended up doing was going into Sharlock to look for the sword, and you instead went into the grave. So what made that decision for you?
Just the grave is right near a start. So, and what I did instead of going right at, I knew it was like it had to be somewhere at about 13 was like the idea. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait till I get outside. So this way, if it happens to be in the grave, I can just outside and not have to worry about walking right back out.
Yep. Okay, so that makes sense why you did some grinding before looking for it. Sharlock's not that far from start either, but yeah, I like that play. I often find that with the flag set where we have repel in dungeons now too, it's like not as much of a penalty to dig out the grave as it used to be as well. So, but yeah, that worked out great for you because Mirashu didn't have any weapon, and he was like, had to run from like wizards and stonemen and golems and stuff, so he wasn't getting any experience in Sharlock. And while he was doing that, you just popped into the grave, grabbed the sword, and back to the grind.
Yeah, and also the other thing too is you had a werewolf that had the wombo combo, you had the Axe Knight that had DL2 breath, and I just want to repel anything. So instead of like normally if I would go for the sword and just try to grind for it, I just decided to repel everything because I didn't feel like taking a death in Sharlock.
Yeah, so that would be enemy number 6 besides the Dragon Lord himself. We counted 6 enemies that at least had DL2, so they were all doing some definite DL training there.
Early on in the seed, we did notice a few, and fortunately, they had the hurt more very early. What was it, a level 2 hurt more? So, yeah, it wasn't too bad to survive. Although, you guys had the low HP for a long time. Sometimes that when you couple that up with enemies in the overworld having DL2 breath, you can have a lot of dying going on, but. Like you said, it didn't turn out that bad, Angel, where 110 was possible. Oftentimes, that's the mark of an easier than normal seed. But yeah, I feel like the stats were kind of the most challenging thing. Just a low HP, low MP for a while, but not so bad that you couldn't overcome it.
Yeah, like when I tried to do the Armor Knight, and we won't discuss about quite a few Hurtmore misses that I had there.
Yep.
Basically, I would just take like the few Hurtmores that I had just right outside of Stone's Cave, and just go on a night, get a wyvern something, and just try to get whatever I could since Cantland was right nearby.
Yeah, that was the best thing. Hawksness was right there with Cantlin, pretty close, so super easy grind for you guys. And one more update real quick here. Off screen, we did have DK finishing third with an official SRL time of 1:11:40. Nest Cardinality finishing fourth with an official SRL of 1:15:45. Unfortunately for him, he just had some bad Sharlock luck and just really sent him home. Because he was really tied with you, honestly. They were saying that he was just a screen ahead of, a level ahead of you, actually, in the castle itself.
I mean, it's not surprising with the way the seed went. Yeah, like I said, 110 was about where I expected people to finish.
So, I mean, so far it's it's still super close. Everybody is, like I said, really close on their finish times. We do have Smashy, who is making his final descent now into here, but he's not picking up the fighter's ring. He's not picking up the death necklace. He's just going straight at it.
And I was explaining, I guess, Angel, right before you came in, that at least from my perspective, it seemed like your first 10 minutes really didn't go that well. In terms of you were taking a lot of deaths, and the exploration you did, you weren't finding much, and all of that sort of thing. And then, to kind of go along with that theme, it took you quite a bit longer to find keys than I think Marashu found keys pretty quickly. And then, quite a while to find the sword. So all this stuff that seems like it should not be going in your favor, and yet you still managed to win in a multi-way race. And it's hard to explain to people like what makes that possible, like what you're doing that other people aren't doing, because it's not easy to really see the difference, but it's pretty consistent that you're running your race and winning a lot of these races, even if things don't go perfectly, So it's a testament to how well you're playing this game right now.
Yeah, it's just take whatever you can. Like like I said, the first 10 minutes was bad. I mean, I did get a metal slime, and then in which case there's plenty in swamp and grave, so it didn't really mean all that much. I mean, I got 3 metal slimes overall, but I mean, that first 10 minutes was just rough, but I just took whatever I could and tried to squeeze whatever I could out of everything.
Yeah, so right now we do Smashy, who is getting through his DL2 fight right now. Marashu on his Blue Dragon fight, and of course Lord of Dungeons on the screen here, picking up his Rainbow Drop. Level 13, so he's not quite ready to go into Sharlock, but he may, still being a new runner, he may pop in there to see what he can do. But I think he's just probably good just going back and grinding Axe Knights.
Yeah, he'll be grinding now. He just with the Rainbow Drop in hand now, he's in grind and go. He did dig out that sword a little bit ago, and he's got the Rainbow Drop. So yeah, for like we said, for a newer player, he is actually run the whole middle section of the race quite well. Like we were saying, like Angel for his standards didn't have a good first 10 minutes, but when you go back and watch Lord of Dungeons, his first 10 minutes was just disastrous, and it's not necessarily his fault. It just like he just couldn't get off like level 1 or 2 or whatever it was for a long time. So it's hard to overcome that. He ran the rest of the race very nicely, and now he's in grind and go, and we'll see how he finishes this out. DL1 fight upcoming for Marashu. Smashy is just finishing up DL2, so things are happening. Anything else off stream, Edge?
So far, nothing else. Unfortunately, kind of looking at this, Marashu is getting a very trolly DL1 fight. He's getting hit with a lot of hurt more, so he's already had to use a couple of herbs. Just not having a good round at this point.
Yeah, it should be noted that Marashu is down to 96 MP entering the fight. We saw Angel had the full 120 MP entering DL2. Marashu is desperately using these herbs because with only 96 MP, this is not a sure thing anymore, and he is not going to get the full HP going into DL2. DL1 just really was trolling him, like you said. So this is not going to be free. So he's got the 12 heal mores to work with, and he is not going to get 2 attacks to open. So this will be tight. on Marashu's end while Smashy finishes up his fight. GG for Smashy.
Yep, so we have Diabetes second, finishing with an official SRL of 119.56, and right behind him is Smashy at 120.14. GG, and we'll try to get Smashy in here for some commentary as well, in game-wise.
So Marashu, I think, had an opportunity in the beginning of this fight where, unless I read the numbers wrong, I think that he was sitting on 48 hit points and decided to heal. I'm not so sure that the numbers are working out for him, and now something just happened there where he took a death to deal 2. I don't know that if he just went for hurt more or he mismenued something there. I'm not sure if he could have won that fight anyways, though. Maybe someone can fill us in on exactly what their attack power is on this level, but yeah, that would have been tight.
It should be 133, I believe.
Okay, 133.
Yeah, so it would have
been close. It would have been close. With no opening double, that would have been close.
Yeah, again, that trolley DL1, man, that is a rough fight. He used quite a few of his herbs there.
Actually, you know what? Marashu, I think, dug out the fighter's ring from Sharlock. He might be looking at 135, which would have made him a slight favorite in that fight. So, yeah, tough miss menu then, if that was the case. He's back in.
And join us here in the booth is Smashy. Smashy, fantastic run, buddy. Love watching that one.
Jerk.
Yeah, man, it's a jerk on a jerk, man.
Yeah, the second continent's what got me, because I went over there once and got sniped by something, and I had a bunch of places where I thought, oh, this could branch out and maybe lead to the jerk. And then, well, first off, I saw that tablet cave there, and I was like, oh, did I do a really dumb? And in that case, it turned out to be a no. However, all those little paths that I thought could potentially branch out didn't. So I wasted a bunch of time doing that, and well, eventually I found that one little path that I hadn't taken yet, and oh wait, there's 2 towns here that I don't need anymore, and oh, there's a jerk.
Yeah.
I think that made the difference in this race. It would have been really close between you and Angel if you could have just gotten the jerk kind of in your travels. Because you were the one that got the sword fairly early. You did go ahead into the grave and you dug out and got the sword, and everybody else had to go back for that later. So
I did that.
You were in good shape there.
Gold grind. I was like, I'm going to set up a gold grind off of Deep Grave, and then I'll go get the Silver Shield, because that gives me a really good reason to go back to Garenham. And oh, hey, there's a sword. And well, yeah, that sword really helped out early to mid when we had no MP, and it's like, oh, these mid-tier enemies, oh, I can just hit them once and they're dead.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were kind of in the driver's seat for a while there, and then towards the end it was just like, well, what do they all still need? And you know, people were in grind and go, and you're running around in the map looking for the jerk cave, which seemed like just was forever. Like you just couldn't find that one cave, and that's just probably the most frustrating thing that can happen in this game, at least for me. It's when you there's just one more thing on the map, and where in the heck is it? Because I've been everywhere.
I mean, six times run fail against the Red Dragon when you have A3 agility is pretty bad as well. That's what got me the first dive, and I know I kind of risked the last run before it sniped me, but by that point, a few people had already finished. I was just like, whatever, just try to get going, and it didn't turn out that well in that case. But what was the Swamp Spike?
Nobody
Blue Dragon.
actually... no, did somebody actually go? Because I didn't see anybody actually go to Swamp Cave.
I checked it. It was the Blue Dragon.
Oh yeah, that was probably a bear. If I knew that, I probably would have ground there over the AK, because they had hurt. I didn't see if they had a second spell, but they had hurt.
Yeah, they did end up having heal more, which I don't know if it was a high percentage.
Never mind.
Yeah, it may have been a low percentage, but I think Marashu he got the information when he did an early Sharlock dive, because it was the mini-boss enemy as well. And I was wondering if that was going to end up biting someone, you know, going towards the Dragon Lord, like, oh, you know, trying to fight this blue dragon without healing or whatever, and then it heals, and then, you know, your numbers are all messed up. But the fight, it wasn't as close as all that in the end. you guys were okay.
Yeah, we were sitting here when Marashu did his first dive. We're like, well, the blue dragon seems like he might be a pretty good grind spot, and then he hit heal more on him. It's like, and never mind that sentiment.
So what do you guys between Angel and Smashy? What's your opinion on the super early hurt more? Do you enjoy it, or would you prefer that seeds didn't play out that way, or what?
This was a weird example of early hurt more because we got the early hurt more, but the MP just lagged forever, so you couldn't actually like do these big explorations because you were just instantly out of MP. I mean, as it turns out,
That's a good point.
As it turns out, most of the seed was condensed north and west of Tantegel anyways, so it wasn't the biggest deal. Really, it just hurt trying to grind that Armor Knight, and it's like, oh, I've killed about 3 or 4 Armor Knights. I gotta go back to Cantlin.
Yeah, Smashy pretty much just summed up how I feel about it. Like yeah, you don't want to see Hermer early because you don't know how far that makes someone ahead. But then at the same time too, with as much MP as we had, it wasn't as big. I mean, Smashy getting sword early was probably bigger at that point than anything else.
Yeah, I just personally, because I've run so many of these seeds now, I personally feel like it just makes the seed less interesting overall. It's just
I think the
you have to
bigger
do for the whole rest of the seed, But sometimes when there's little wrinkles, like today, like Smashy said, the low MP for a long time, and actually you had low HP for quite a long time too.
Oh
so
yeah, that is one.
Yeah, so I mean, this one was a little more on the interesting side, but a lot of times it's just like the level 2 hurt more is just like, ugh, here we go, and it's just kind of like you feel like you're sprinting through the rest of the seed, and there's not as much thought and all that, but yeah, I mean, it could vary, so there's no reason to make a blanket statement. I wasn't sure if you guys felt that way as well, or if, some people really enjoy it. It's like, oh, it's almost like a, adrenaline boost. Like, here we go, let's go. I don't know.
So just a heads up, guys. Marashu's just having a lot of late game misfortunes. He was down there on that final dive, got down there, and got sent back before he could get to DL2.
Yeah, I guess there are enough red enemies in this Sharlock that the dives weren't free. When Angel just kind of scooted through there, it seemed like no problem. But yeah, people were dying to red dragons, and then I think there are tons of armored knights in there as well, so.
Yeah,
there's
there's
apparently
Armor Knights in 2 zones, reds at the bottom, golems in the middle.
Yeah, like I saw Armor Knights the first zone, and then I saw nothing in the second zone with all the repel, so apparently I missed the golem. And then third, I didn't see anything till like after the top of the bottom floor. Like I didn't see anything till then.
Must be nice. Yeah, it is interesting. Sharlock luck can definitely play a role, but you had the resources. If you had to burn 1 or 2 heal mores, you were still fine, as it turns out. So yeah, no.
Yeah,
problem
I mean, once I ran into that first red dragon, I'm like, oh, I should just attack this, and then the second one's like, forget it. I'm just gonna run at this point.
Yeah, I think the one stat you did have for a long time was good agility. I feel like you got a big gain early on that, and you continue to have it.
Sorry. I just want to say, both strength and agility were real good early. I think we were like level 9 or 10, and our strength and agility were already in the 50s, which is, I think, really helped out the sword pickup that I got, because that pushed me over 100 attack power super early. And that's kind of what led to that, I can just hit these mid-tier enemies.
Yeah, that's why at that point when you had the sword, I felt like you were definitely in the driver's seat there. Angel just had the exploration, rounded everything up just a bit faster, get into grind and go. Just with that one cave that eluded you this time, but yeah, typically I would think that that would pay off in a seed like this where you don't have a lot of magic. It's nice to have that sword.
So far we haven't anybody else finish up yet, but Mirashi's making another dive. Lord of Dungeons is frozen up. Either he he's away from his controller for a second or is frozen again. I know we had a problem earlier on his stream where he froze. And I know we still have a few racers to go as far as finishing up on this. So everybody, it just seems like everybody's kind of right in the same last bit here.
Yeah, this makes multiple dives for Marashu now, including his exploratory dive looking into all the chests, hoping the sword was in there early on. But in the process, he did pick up the death necklace, which isn't going to be used. And he's got the fighter's ring for a little bit of a buffer on, attack power stats. But hopefully this time is the charm, since he's on the bottom floor now. Runs away from a red dragon, so almost there now, and he's doing much better with... his MP is still maxed out, whereas in one of those other fights, he went into the fight with 96 MP, so we shall see. Looks like he might have to burn one here, though. Yeah, it's amazing when you get these stretches where you just can't get away from an armored knight. It's just, like Smashy said, 5, 6 in a row. It's just so much more common than you would think it would be. When it's basically a coin flip. If they have agility in the 80s, it should be about a coin flip each time. So failing 6 in a row is kind of rough. But it seems to happen to somebody, virtually every race. He already knows what the spike tile is. He's been through here a couple of times. So Blue Dragon fight once again from Marashu, as we try and see if we can get Lord of Dungeons back online here.
Yeah, I'm looking at my splits now. One of the things I do, I know a lot of people with their live splits will have actual splits on, but it'll be by level. I instead do objectives, and I've got my 8th thing, which I believe was the Staff of Rain, at 36 minutes, and then it took me 18 minutes to find that stupid jerk.
Ooh, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, yeah. So how do you set it up then? You don't have those things listed in any particular order? It's just when you get one important thing, you just mark it off. Like, how do you know you'll be getting the Staff of Rain before, something else that you need?
I think we've got some technical difficulties on Smashy's end. While we have just a second, though, Marashu making his shot at the DL2 once again. And then while we have a kind of a lull, make sure that you guys give all these racers a follow. They do more racing or do more running than just DWR. So give them a follow, give them a check out. They do a lot of stuff. And of course, without them, we're just sitting here talking to you guys. So without these guys, without these racers, we're not doing anything. And of course, definitely give a follow to all of our crew tonight. Kaimi on Renikai and Up to NG, definitely, because, again, without all of these guys, you guys don't have much anything to watch either. So give everybody a follow, give everybody a shout out to look. And again, Marashu finishing up this DL2 fight right now.
Yeah, I kind of just did a little messing with my scene and obs. I just have everything listed as a thingy. And then in my chat, you can type in thingy and it'll tell you what they are.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I agree with you though that having splits as like level ups is not necessarily as helpful. So that's pretty cool.
All right. So Marashu finishing up his DL2 fight, looks like. Oh, well, almost finishing. There it is. He's finished up his DL2 fight. He's getting ready to take it home.
Yeah, not sure if anyone else finished off stream Edge, but Marashu, fine showing, and he had, like, early on, it felt like he had some chances to win the whole race here. He was first to keys on stream, had Erdrick's armor early on, and had a pretty good lead in exploration. But yeah, some stuff at the end game there went pretty poorly for him, and so yep, we're at final time. What do we have? 1:35 and change.
He is an official SRL time of 1:35.21. And joining us in the booth, congratulations, Marashu. Amazing race, man.
Yeah, thanks, and GG, everyone.
Yeah, GG, we were just going over a little bit of a summary where, as a matter of fact, you were the first one by quite a bit on stream to find Rimildar to get yourself some keys. That led you back home to picking up Erdrick's armor quickly, and seemed like you were off to the races for a while. You had a gold grind there for the silver shield, so things were going pretty smoothly for most of it, and just looked like you had some slowdowns there at the end.
The exact slowdown was skipping sword. As soon as I saw sword I saw that sword wasn't in Charlock, that's when I knew I didn't have the race.
Yeah, that was an interesting divergence. I think you and Angel were in the same situation. Angel went with the Grave, and you went with diving through Charlock. What was your decision point there? How'd you make that decision?
So, at first I just figured that, there's lots of spots. I don't need to do the last two graves because I didn't have keys yet. And then, after a while, I was doing some grinding and I'd explored the map. I'd explored a couple places more than once, and by that point I was thinking, if sword isn't in Charlock, someone probably would have finished by now. So it's probably in Charlock, so I'm going to bet on that and go look for it there. And lo and behold, it wasn't there, and maybe 2 minutes after I left Charlock, Angel finished.
Oh, I see the logic there. Yeah, if it was somewhere easy to find, then maybe someone would have already finished. Yeah, I got you. So that's a good gamble then. It just didn't pay off this time. There's also quite a lot of chests in Charlock. You'd think that it would have a good chance of being there by the time, you had cleared most other things besides the Grave. Not sure if you ever got through Tablet Cave or whatever, but yeah, there wasn't too much.
So it was 7 in Charlock and then 3 outside of Charlock. And I cleared Charlock, saw it wasn't in there. Then I decided to do Tablet, saw that it wasn't there, and then I went to Grave.
Yeah, that did slow you down a bit. You had the unfortunate miss menu in Charlock as well. It happens.
I didn't know that red dragons were on basement until my second dive of Charlock, and when I mismenued, it was when a couple people not on stream had done, and I was reading the chat, and I should have been reading the game and not the chat, because I look back and I did the wrong more.
Ah, that's what it was. Yes. Yeah, okay, that's what it was in the DL2, right. Okay. That's unfortunate. I was kind of, I had wished that fight had gone all the way because you had entered the fight a little bit diminished with MP, so I wasn't sure if you were going to make it on that fight, but it realized afterwards that you did have the fighter's ring, one of the benefits of actually digging out the Charlock treasury, right? So it seemed like the numbers should have worked out for you, but unfortunately the missed menu, and now we'll never know.
And now we'll never know.
Yeah, that miss menu, man. I mean, you had amazing early luck, and then just late game, it seemed to want to start crumbling around for a little bit.
Well, fortune favors the favored, so that's just how Rando's gonna go.
I feel you, man. I mean, that's why they call it Randomizer. It's kind of an any given Sunday type piece, and it was just one of those that everything in the end honestly played out to everything played out to just that sword. Smashy had it super early, but Angel kind of got it, like you said, after he realized that, okay, let's go hit Grave first. But I'm not faulting anybody on any way they ran, because everybody ran a super clean race.
Yeah, I
Even,
always enjoy when we restream these races where you get to watch multiple people play, the same seed side by side, because you do get to see, first of all, how good everyone is. Like you said, everyone ran a nice race, but then, there are some differences in like what they decide to do, sometimes just based on luck. Like he goes this way and he goes that way, and it's kind of fun to be able to see, what, whether what this person did ended up favoring them or whatever. So yeah, this race format is super fun for viewers. I think I've always enjoyed it.
yeah, Lord of Dungeons hitting level 15, so he is just about ready. Not sure he's going to realize he's going to need at least one more level. Hopefully he gets in here, sees that his HP is still pretty low, and just goes get that last level. Then it should be a pretty easy dive for him.
Yeah, interesting. He came back to the inn and he still had plenty of MP to work with. So yeah, like you said, I wonder if he was actually considering a dive here. I'm not sure why he wouldn't have just continued grinding. I think he still had half of his MP there, didn't he? But regardless, he's back into Hawksness now for one more level of grinding. Yeah, Lord of Dungeons. It's interesting to see newer runners. How quickly they pick up on how to play these various situations. Feel like he had just started racing a few weeks ago, right, Edge? And like we were saying, the whole like middle section of this race, he ran fine. So
Yeah, and it's just one of those. I know, like in my first start, I was definitely watching a lot of you guys, a lot of the top tier runners, and just any runners, to be completely honest, and just seeing the different directions they go. And I picked up a lot of different strats from a lot of different people. My exploration I picked up from Beta Strep. Some of the ways that I kind of play out my dungeons and stuff like that, I picked up from Angel. So it's all in kind of some of that RNG, but then it's all picking up on some of how the senior racers and stuff like that run. Like I said, it's interesting to see how new guys go and then how they pick up and make some of this stuff kind of their own.
Yeah, and I always, when I got really into this game, it was because there was tournament time happening, right? And you get to see, at least mostly in the summer tournament, we had been doing just head-to-head restreams where then you can really follow what one runner is doing because there's only two of them, right? And you see what the difference is between the two, and you really, to me, like you said, just watching people race, you pick up on tips and tricks of handling certain situations that you wouldn't have thought of on your own, and that's a good fast way to get up to speed if you're ever thinking about getting into this game and getting into races. Watch some of these and see what people are doing and why they're doing it, and it'll give you some good ideas for how to play your own races. So for sure, you can always join the Discord and just hop in, and the community there will help you get started on locating the randomizer, how to load up a seed of your own for practice, and walk you through how to get started with racing. And absolutely, the more the merrier.
Yeah, see, I remember how I got into this actually was seeing you guys' last year's summer tournament on YouTube, and I was kind of like, I love this game. This is kind of an interesting spin on this game. I really think I could do this. And then, of course, I got in the Discord, was really quiet for like a week and a half, and then came back and like I was running races alongside of you guys. If you guys were running, I was running everything offline. So it kind of really got me going. Then I was like, you know what? Let me step into a weekly race and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to do it. Just watch people first. If you're interested, then get your hands on the randomizer and run a few on your own, and just get an idea of what you're doing. And then, like you said, either run a couple alongside while people are racing live. The other thing you can do is you can look up the race results. You can grab the seed number of what the race was, and try not to look at the times. And then you go back after you run your race and you look up, how fast the people that were in the race, how fast they finished, and you can kind of compare and, you start seeing how you're doing better and better. You're getting closer and closer to, the times that people are running, and you see improvement. That's part of the fun of it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Lord of Dungeons closing in on that final level 16. He is just a couple of fights away from it. So we should see maybe 1 or 2 more shots here, and then he'll be ready to go.
And this is kind of a rough scenario where he's out of MP, like 1 victory away. So he's hoping to just run into a couple more of these wolves and stuff in Hawksness on the way out of here. Demon Knight actually would do it. So, yeah, that's a nice play. Instead of trying to force 1 more victory on the Armor Knight and probably taking a death before getting the level, manages to get this big level where you get all the HP and all the MP here. And hopefully he'll do some math and realize that it's time to get going. Didn't go to the inn, though. So, maybe he wants to rebuild in the castle. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
I'm thinking so, but I mean, I would have probably definitely made sure that my fairy waters are full, my herbs are full just before I take off in here, and just take the 100 gold and go. Interesting play. But yeah, I mean, it works for him. He's going to get full magic back. He's going to be able to heal real quick with the Erdrick's armor walking. So
yeah, I personally find this little walk to be kind of long. And one thing I would prefer to have like some wings if you want to do this walk. Oh, he's actually going to save first too. I'm not sure that I usually see people do that, but maybe one reason to sometimes do this is if you plan on using the death necklace and you don't want to be cursed or whatever, but he's probably not going to be doing that in this case. And I think that he actually is running a different build now that I'm looking at his stats. He has barely 100 hit points. I think everyone else we were looking at had like more like 108 hit points. So he did not go with a build that favored HP growth. I'm not exactly sure which build it is, but
it looks to be strength agility because Marashu had 100 HP too at that point.
Okay, cool. Yeah, either strength agility or just one of the other ones that people don't use. I don't know what his name that he chose, and filters out to, but we'll just assume it was strength agility.
Well, it should be an interesting grind for him as long as he can get through this. Those werewolves are just atrocious, and he hasn't used repel, so he's not used any magic. So he is going to be fighting the full brunt of everything on this dive through. And it's interesting because he does have the silver shield. He does have Erdrick's armor.
Yeah, one little thing he could have done was he could have cast repel while he was standing in front of the old man there, right before refilling his MP. That way, the repel is in effect for a little while, and you don't have to actually burn any magic to, at least for the first half of the dungeon here. But he chose not to do that, so he's getting some of the more minor fights. Just takes a little time to run away from them. This one, on the other hand, he would get no matter what, and it's a little bit of a problem. It's hard to run away from armored knights and red dragons in particular, so he's just going to fight his way through this one and take the experience and just hope to not run into another one because he's not healing right now. Not sure if he has a good herb supply to work with, but he's continuing to run around in the dungeon with just 40 hit points without healing.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if he has an herb supply or not. I don't think he grabbed anything when he left Cantlin that last time.
He's also choosing to fight some of the weaker enemies. He just took down a wizard there, so I wonder if in the back of his mind he feels like wanting to get another level before the fight at the end.
Not terribly unheard of. I mean, it's one of those pad your stats up, but kind of where you're sitting at, you definitely are in go mode. You've got the 100 hit HP.
Yeah,
the 120 magic.
In some ways, though, I don't mind when you start seeing a lot of armored knights. I don't mind it as much because maybe you're feeling like, well, if I have to burn a couple of heal mores, then I no longer have the stats, right? So as a backup plan, if I can get the stats on the way down and I have to burn a few heal mores, then maybe I'll still be good if I get some good, attack power on level 17. Unfortunately, he doesn't heal during the fight when he really needed to, and he took a death.
Yeah, that's a rough one to see, especially this late in the game. I mean, you're right there.
Yeah, this is another spot where I think experience pays off a little bit, as you really you can't be afraid to use these herbs, right? So like he had exited a armored knight battle and he only had about 40 hit points. Well, if you take a few steps and you run into another one, now you're entering the fight and you're already damaged, right? So there's a little bit of a trade-off because you're also heal walking with Erdrick's armor, so you don't necessarily want to just use an herb where you're only gaining a few hit points and you're maxed out. But if you're down at like 30 or 40 hit points, don't be afraid to use an herb because it can save you on your MP use later on when you run into a tough enemy.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, experience kind of plays into this a little bit. Just for the simple fact is he's still super green. I think this may only be like his third, fourth, maybe even fifth race against people. So he's still super green, and it's going to take time to learn these things. But once he does, I think he's going to be a very pretty effective runner.
Yeah, honestly, I had been playing this game for a while before I finally kind of made an adjustment in my own game, not just in Charlock, but kind of throughout, is to always be like a little bit more healed up than you would think. Even when in the early stages when you're running around in the overworld, it's like I call it just like topping off my HP. If you have the regular heal spell, and you have, a max of like 50 and you're at 40, well, just cast heal and go up to 50. Because trust me, when you get ambushed and somebody hurt mores you for 45, you'll be happy that you went from 40 to 50. Like there's just so many times when you just want to be a little bit more healed up than you would think. And I've learned that over time. It's just one of those details in the game that you kind of learn through experience.
Yeah, experience is definitely the great equalizer here. So kind of looking at it here, he has run 23 overall races on Speedruns Live, so he's got a few of them under his belt. He actually has a first place win, a second, and a third place, but he has indeed forfeited 16 of his races. So unfortunately, that's rough going. But hey, he's again sticking this out. He's getting in here. He's getting these races in. It looks like he's just trying to run as many races as possible.
Yeah, I think what's happening here now is that I think he's going to get another level. So he has seen enough armored knights to know that he could get himself into a little bit of trouble. Might have to burn some heal mores. I think he chose to use the radiant spell because maybe he used his last torch in the previous dive, and so now the radiant costs him a heal more because now instead of 120 MP, you have 118. And so now I think he's hedging his bet and just fighting most of the monsters to get level 17 on the way through. Like you said, not unheard of and not necessarily that bad of an idea, depending on how tough, he doesn't know how tough the other zones will be. And we know that there are red dragons in the bottom zone. So, just take the fights that are easy. The wizard, he's defense breaking the wizard. It's super safe fights. It's just 2-shot, 3-shot the wizard. Another 120 here, and he's less than 1,000 away from just picking up level 17 on the way, just to pad the stats, make the last fight a little bit easier.
So off stream, we did have another one of our racers finish. BLKJHFDIT. He finished 8th place with an SRL time of 1:47:15, and. Let's see here. We do have Harrison saying that our newest competitor, Fatboy981, got level 16, got his drop, and he's going for Charlock run right now. So good luck to him for that one. He's running a super close race with Lord of Dungeons here. So Dungeons is actually right here at. He's not even going to bother with the ring or the necklace. He's just going for it.
And our fantastic SpeedGaming restreamer putting a note in chat that we can check out some of the previous broadcasts on YouTube. Follow that link. That's another good way to learn a game like this. Is you go back over a broadcast and maybe even run the same seed that these runners just ran, and see what the comments are. You can pause the video and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, check out the SpeedGaming's YouTube content there. And we are approaching the mini boss edge, and so far this has been a much smoother dive. He's got all his resources for the most part. So let's see
Yeah,
what happens.
most definitely. I mean, he is super close to 17. He's only spent 2 magic points for that first radiant, and he decided to make the walk. So I think good on him for that one. And having a really nice walk like this is kind of nice and refreshing. But again, he doesn't know the fact that this blue dragon does have heal more, so it's going to be a little rough if he gets that heal more.
I was wondering if he would do this too. It's like you're so close that you're tempted to get this level. Now he didn't really need to get this level. That's one of those things. It's like you feel like you should get it because you're so close, but he does have more than enough resources to just win right now, to just walk over there and talk to the Dragon Lord. Instead, he's taking potentially some risk by walking around looking for more battles, and there are red dragons down here. I'm not sure if he's seen them. But he's going to try and pick up level 17 here. He's just going to go back to the spike tile and take down the blue dragon again, which of course, like you said, he doesn't know that they have heal more. Seems to be low percentage, but it could be an issue. But that was
of course,
I was wondering if he was just going to try and get the level, even though you don't really need it. But here it is.
Yeah, level 17, so he's going to get that extra little boost. Not great, but 31 HP, so he well, if he had it, he could use Death Necklace strats, but he does have herbs and everything, so I'm curious as to what prompted him not to use those on the first dive.
Right. Yeah, you gotta use the herbs when you have them. But yeah, now he's in the driver's seat. I just saw he pulled up his stats again, so he does have 95 strength, which translates into 135 attack power. He does not have the ring. So with 135 attack power and with all this extra HP, he should get some double attacks. Very heavy favorite now to win, just has to avoid the miss menu.
All right, so here we go with our DL2 fight. Any kind of miss menu would be awful at this point, but I think he's going to make this one count, finish it out strong. Again, like you said, he's going to get a couple of decent double shots out of this, so it'll be really nice. Nice to see him finish this one, come in here and give us a little commentary before we close out for the night. We do still have one more runner who is, as was stated earlier, making his Sharlock run now. So, again, GG to everybody running tonight. Amazing race across the board. We were just definitely happy to be here. And, again, follow these guys who've given you the race, because without them, again, we're just talking. And again, of course, our restreamer and the couple of guys here in the booth. Yeah, we're happy to get any kind of followings we can get, because again, everybody does more than just the Dragon Warrior Randomizer. I know a couple of people over here put up quite a few different titles, so it'll be it's nice for you guys to check them out and give them a follow.
Yeah, what's nice too, Edge, is we have a few newer runners in the race tonight between on stream here and a few of them on the off stream, and if they keep at it over the next few weeks, it's going to be fun to see which of them kind of becomes a real competitor for the tournament coming up, which will probably start somewhere in the August time frame. Sometimes it's like every year there's like one or two people that come out of nowhere and make a huge splash in the tournament, and so you wonder, we'll see how these players progress from week to week. We're now in the 2021 season here. This is May 2021, and we'll be running weekly races every Sunday, and also there are just pickup races in between. And I'm sure that some of these runners that we think of and are watching as newer runners are going to improve rapidly over the coming weeks and make a nice splash in the tournament. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Lord of Dungeons. There it is. He's finished off. He's not using the return spell. He's just going to take a nice leisurely stroll back home. He's going to go ahead and finish this one out. 169 to finish it. Yeah, like you were saying, we do have the summer league coming up. Are you going to be there up? Are you gonna run that league?
Oh yeah, I always enter the summer tournament. It's my favorite format. I'm less interested personally in being a runner in the winter non-standard flags tournament, but when it comes to standard flags, I enjoy running in those races. So absolutely, I'll be signing up.
Right on. I'll be there too, so don't feel bad. So Lord of Dungeons does finish ninth with an official SRL time of 159.54. So nice sub 2. And we've got one more runner who just started his DL1. So He should be finishing up his race here in just a few moments. We'll see if we can't get Lord of Dungeons in here for a little after game real quick, and then we'll get ready to call it a night. Again, we have these Sunday races each Sunday, so definitely come check it out. We also have some Wednesday races that we have been running, so I know that's starting to pick back up too. Definitely check it out. Everybody, has a good time running these because Wednesdays we kind of run a different flag set just to give everybody a little bit of an idea of what some of the taste of the other flags we do have is.
Yep, that was a fun race tonight. Good demonstration of what happens when you get the early hurt more, and some of the ways that it's still not necessarily free when you get hurt more. There's still some challenges involved, and congrats to Angel for a really well, highly skilled run with sub 110 on the winning time, and our other on-stream runners, Smashy, Marashu, Lord of Dungeons, with very fine showings. And we'll see. Is he planning on coming? Do you know?
Let me check real quick.
Okay. Thanks all our viewers for supporting the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community and checking out these races. Definitely feel free to join us in running some of these if you're interested in that, or we'll just look forward to seeing you guys in the viewership next week as well. It's good times. I like these restreams. I like watching them. I like and I like participating in them as well. It's a really nice thing that SpeedGaming does to restream all these races from the different, not just Dragon Warrior Randomizer, but from some of the other games as well.
Right on. And Fatboy 981 has our last time of the day, 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 24 seconds to finish out the entirety of the race. LOD said he would be coming in here, so let's see if we can't get him in here and get some commentary from him before we close out the night.
Very good, very good. Yeah, Ed, you mentioned that you will be signing up for the summer tournament as well. And you've been running this for a little bit longer, right? I think maybe since the previous tournament.
So I have actually been running with the community and actually running races since December. I did run the winter tournament with you guys. So this will be my first summer tournament with you all, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like I said, I will also be doing commentary throughout the process of it, just for the simple fact is commentary is one of my favorite things to do. LOD, welcome to the booth. Good race, man. We loved watching it, and we're definitely going to be watching you coming through the next few weeks to see how you start picking up, man. We kind of noticed that beginning game was a little rough for you, but mid game you started picking up really good and catching up pretty quick.
What? I didn't say anything.
There you are. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, man. Great race. We're definitely loving to see the new blood coming in, and we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on you. You had a rough start, but going through mid game and everything like that, you started really catching up, and then just had a little bit of a rough end game. I think though, with the weeks coming up and whatnot, you're definitely going to pick up and be somebody to watch. So we seem to have a little bit of an issue with him. We lost him. See if we can't get him back here real quick. If not, then we'll get ready to close out the night here. All right, there he is. So, Lord of Dungeons, what's your thoughts on this particular scene tonight, man?
Thousands of wildlife enthusiasts.
Are you able to hear us, Lord of Dungeons?
Hello.
There you are. Can you hear us now? You got us now, buddy?
Hear
All right,
anybody?
seems to be a little bit of a problem being able to reach Lord of Dungeons here.
Searching for civilization. A scenario to
Yeah, I think probably not set up with push to talk either. I think we're just hearing some background noise on his live mic, so it works out sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I kind of think with that then, with the inability to be able to kind of get him for some last minute commentary here, I mean, amazing race. This one could have been, it could have gone multiple different ways and multiple different shots here. Up to NG, what's your last thoughts of the night on all of this, man?
I've lost hearing.
Yeah, I am just I'm happy that we're continuing on with the weeklies every Sunday, so we can see how the standard flags are kind of progressing from everybody, and yeah, just looking forward to next week.
All right. Well, this is Edge Talvrin, and joined here up to NG. Definitely glad to restream and commentate for you guys. Definitely catch us again next weekend. Same time, same channel. We'll be on one of the Speed Gaming channels. And this is Edge Talvrin saying thanks, good night, and glad to see you here, guys.